And more testimony in the Baby Medicine Manslaughter Trial, that in Hawaii. A Navy wife is accused of giving a fatal dose of Benadryl-like medicine to a 7-month-old that she was babysitting. That baby died. Before we head to Hawaii for day 2 of testimony, we'll get you caught up on this case. Take a look. Dixie Denise Villa is charged with manslaughter for the death of baby Abigail Lobisch. On February 24, 2019, Villa, a Navy officer's wife who allegedly had an unauthorized child care business, was babysitting Abigail and Abigail's 2-year-old brother when the 7-month-old died. Prosecutors alleged Villa gave Abigail an antihistamine. The autopsy report showed she died of a fatal level of diphenhydramine, an ingredient found in Benadryl. The medicine is not recommended for young children. Local news, KGMB sat down with Abigail's mother.
I just want it to be done, for sure. Like, I want to move on from this. I don't think I'll ever truly move on and truly fully heal from Abby's death.
Villa pled not guilty. Her trial was delayed more than a dozen times. Local news, KGMB spoke with her defense attorney.
My client doesn't have a record. She has one battery from over 20 years ago.
Abigail's father recently posted about the trial on his Facebook page saying, quote, "My daughter was killed in 2019 by her babysitter. We've been heartbroken ever since." And, quote, "One day we will have justice for you, my dearest daughter." Hard to get your head around losing a child in this manner. That's what this family is dealing with, these parents. Now, in this case, the state's case is going to resume next week. Baby Abigail's mom did take the stand, though, in this case on day 2. We're a day behind because of court rules out in Hawaii. So let's go inside the courtroom and listen to this emotional testimony from the mother of the child that died.
What do you do for a living?
I run a cleaning company here in Hawaii.
Did you attend college?
I did.
Where did you go to college?
Hawaii Pacific University.
When did you go to college?
Between 2017 and I think I graduated 2021 or 2022.
Did you get a degree?
I'm 1 credit short, but almost.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Singapore, and then I came back here to Hawaii about 12 years ago.
Okay. Why did you come to Hawaii from Singapore?
My grandparents were missionaries.
And so what brought you to Hawaii from Singapore?
Family.
Did you have family here in Hawaii?
I did, yeah.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
When was Abigail born?
July 16th.
What year?
— 2018. I was.
Where were you working?
I was at Queens.
What were you doing at Queens?
I was a respiratory assistant.
Okay.
He worked at a golf course. He was a mechanic.
Okay. Was James also in the military?
Yes.
When was he in the military?
I'm sorry, I don't recall the exact dates that he was in. Yeah, he's guard right now, or reserves.
Okay. Was that Was he previously a full-time active duty Army?
He was.
At that time, had he transitioned to the reserves?
Yes, he did.
And was he also working at the golf course at that same time when Abby was born?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when Abby was born in 2018, did you take time off of work?
I did.
How much time did you take off?
About 3 months.
During that time that you were taking off of work after
Yes, he did.
Now, at some point, did you need to return to work?
I did.
And where were you going to be working at that point?
I was supposed to be transferring over to an orthopedic office, Orthopedic Associates.
Okay. When it was time for you to go back to work, babysitter?
Yes.
What happened to his babysitter?
I think they stopped services at the time. She was just not watching children anymore.
Okay. So when did you start looking for childcare for your return back to work?
It was around October, November, I think. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did you ask around for any recommendations?
I did, yeah.
Did someone by the name of Denise come recommended to you?
Yes, she came highly recommended.
Okay. Now, you had family here. Is there a reason you didn't ask your family to watch your kids?
We're not. We're estranged, yeah, so.
Okay. Now, ultimately, did you settle on
I did.
How many times did you visit before you settled on Denise as a babysitter?
About two times.
When you went to visit, did you get a chance to see where the kids would play?
Yes.
Did you get to see where they would be eating?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to see where they'd be sleeping?
Yes. On, like, cots in the front room of the home.
Denise was caring for your daughter.
It was either a crib or a pack and play.
After meeting Denise, did you decide she would be appropriate to watch your kids?
Yes.
How long would you say Denise watched your kids?
Between 3 and 4 months.
So if you were to see her again, you could recognize her?
Yes.
If she's here today, can you please point to her and describe something she's wearing?
She's wearing a black shirt over there, right there.
And if the record could reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
Some water.
So when would you say
2018.
did you have a payment agreement?
Yes,
And who would make the payment? You or James?
I would.
Do you remember how much you would pay?
I can't recall the exact amount.
Okay. How often would she watch your kids?
It was normally Monday through Friday, and then if we needed extra care, then we would request for that.
Okay. And would you pay extra for the extra care?
Yes,
When you drop the kids off, would you supply food?
yes.
What kind of food?
We.
Okay. From the time that Abby started going to the defendants for babysitting care, was it always formula that you would provide?
Initially, it was breast milk at the very beginning.
Okay. How long would you say you provided breast milk?
It wasn't very long. My supply had dried up, so probably about a month or so.
So was it the end of 2018, or were you still giving breast milk in 2019?
I don't recall the exact dates.
Okay, what other things would you send with your kids to the defendant's house?
Clothes, diapers, wipes.
Okay. Had you met her children?
Yes, I did.
Had you met her husband?
Yes.
How would you describe your relationship with her over the course of the time that she was watching your kids?
We were building a friendship, I feel like.
Would you ever ask her to watch your kids overnight?
Yes.
And why would you ask for overnight?
I needed a break. Things came up.
At the time that defendant was watching your kids, were you in school?
Yes, I was.
Were you working full-time?
I was.
And what was the status with you and James?
We were in the middle of a divorce at the time.
Okay. About how many times between the first time you used the defendant in November 2018 until February 23rd, 2019, did you ask her to watch the kids overnight?
It was between 2 and 4 times, if I can recall.
And when she watched the kids overnight, would you pay extra for that?
Yes, I would.
Now, when she would watch your kids Monday through Friday or even after hours, would she send you updates throughout the day to let you know how they were doing?
She would.
And did you like getting those updates?
Yes, I did.
And how would you get those updates?
All right, we're going to get a break in here. First, let's check in with Dave Ehrenberg. He's the state attorney in Palm Beach County, Florida. Dave, this is a horrible case. These parents losing a child. And the toxicology, the cause of death was ruled an overdose of basically Benadryl, the ingredients in Benadryl. The defense here is that I didn't do it. It wasn't me who administered. What's your overall take of this prosecution out in Hawaii?
Good to be with you, Ted. It's a heartbreaking case. The prosecution is doing a good job. It does show you, though, that when there's a civil lawsuit, it can get in the way of a criminal prosecution because there's some allegations in the civil lawsuit that the grieving mother here was trying to help the civil lawsuit by perhaps trying to disguise evidence and not try to be as forthcoming as she could be. And that just shows you have two different burdens, two different standards of proof and evidence, and yet they could conflict with each other. And that could be a problem for the prosecution's case if it looks like the victim's family has been less than forthcoming. Because after all, this is really like a circumstantial case. No one saw the dose of Benadryl given to the baby except for the defendant. So it is not a slam dunk for prosecutors, but they're doing as good as they can.
When you're cross-examining, we're not there yet, we're still on direct, we're cross-examining a mother who's lost a child. How do you navigate the waters there?
When you are cross-examining, you don't want to come across as callous. You don't want to lose the jury by turning them against you. And so you have to treat her with kid gloves. Look at the way that the prosecution is handling direct. They are asking questions in a seemingly empathetic way. But they're getting out the information that's necessary. But when the cross-examination takes place, that's for all the marbles, because the jury may just decide we're going to go with whomever we like more. If we like the mother more, we're going to buy her story and believe it, because the evidence does point to that. But if the mother doesn't perform well on cross-examination, that could flip very easily. But it's really hard to gain points, score points, with a sympathetic victim like this. And that's why these defense lawyers are going to have to be really careful, really sensitive not to lose the jury here.
Yeah, to make their point, try to get the inconsistencies out in front without offending, because this woman has lost a child. And everybody can relate. Nobody wants to, doesn't want to even go there mentally. But this jury has to. And you know, to start this case, she's got built-in empathy just because of what has happened, and that's incredibly hard to get over if you're the defense in this case. Let's do this. Grab a break. We'll head back for more testimony in the state of Hawaii in this Benadryl poisoning case. Stay with us.
Mr. Jeffrey, tell me what happened that night. killed my wife, I guess. I don't remember none of that.
You don't remember the fight with Lisa?
How many times did you hit her?
5.
You don't remember what her dead body looked like laying out there in front of you?
Not at all.
If you were me, would you believe you?
Interview with a Killer. Sunday, 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
On February 23rd, 2019, just before 11 a.m., it was the last time Anna Lobisch would see her 7-month-old daughter, Abigail, alive. But in the nighttime hours of February 23rd, 2019, it was the defendant, Dixie Denise Villa, who took Abby away from her parents and the brother who loved her most.
We've been watching this heartbreaker out of Hawaii in the Baby Medicine Manslaughter Trial. A Navy wife is accused of giving a fatal dose of Benadryl-like medicine to a 7-month-old little baby that she was babysitting back 5 years ago, 2019. Let's head back into the courtroom where the victim's mother is on the stand testifying, still direct.
Message.
Did they include pictures?
They did.
And did that last throughout the entire time that she was watching her kids?
Yes, it did.
Now, Abby was still being bottle fed during the time that the defendant was watching your child?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Did you have any specific instructions about how to feed your kids?
No, I didn't.
Did you have any specific instructions regarding allergies for your kids?
No.
Would the defendant contact you if one of your kids wasn't feeling well during the day?
She would.
Okay. And was there a time when Abby didn't feel well while she was with the defendant?
There was one time, yes.
And did the defendant give her Tylenol to help her feel better?
She did.
And you were okay with that?
Yeah, we discussed it.
Okay. And did you have any specific instructions that you would give her while she was caring for your kids about medication?
No.
Okay. Now, Abby was born on July 16, 2018. Was that pregnancy easy?
It was.
About how much did she weigh when she was born?
She was 6 pounds and 11 ounces.
Okay. Was she born healthy?
Yes.
Did she have any issues at birth?
She had low blood sugar when she first came out, but it didn't last very long. Probably within the first couple of hours, and then she was fine.
Okay. How would you describe Abby as a baby?
Sweet baby.
When you brought Abby home from the hospital, what would her sleeping habits be like?
Take your time.
The first 2 weeks, she was normal. She woke up in the night, and then after a couple weeks, she slept through the night, 8 to 10 hours.
Did her sleeping habits change at all?
Yeah,
When did they change?
around the end of December, January.
What did you notice about her sleep at that time?
She was waking up every 30 minutes, a lot, towards the end.
When you say towards the end, what are you talking about?
Sorry, before she passed.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to keep your voice up a little bit more.
I'm so sorry. Before she passed.
When you first brought Abby home from the hospital, was she exclusively breastfed?
She was, yeah.
When did you start introducing formula?
It was right around the time that I went back to work. My supply started to dwindle, so.
Okay, and what kind of formula did you use?
It's Similac. It was in a purple can.
Was there anything special about it or a reason that you picked that specific can?
She was just having issues with the other formulas that we used, so.
Did you find that the formula that you picked in the purple can was working the best for her?
Yes.
Now, when you would mix formula, you have to mix it with water, correct?
Yes.
Did you have any specific type of water that you like to use when you mix formula?
No.
What kind of water would you put with the formula?
Tap water.
Okay. Did Abby have any allergies?
No.
Did she have any medical issues?
No.
Okay. When Abby was home with you, did you guys co-sleep?
Yeah, well, she was in a crib next to the bed.
Could you describe how the crib is set up next to the bed?
It would be like a sidecar, and then the front of the crib would be taken off, and then she would be in the crib.
Okay, so would she be sleeping on your bed?
No.
Was Abby capable of putting herself to sleep?
I would rock her.
Okay. Did you guys swaddle Abby?
We did.
How long did that continue?
It was up to 7 months, I think, we were swaddling her.
And why did you swaddle her for so long?
She enjoyed it. She liked being swaddled.
Can you describe what swaddling is?
Where you wrap like a blanket, or there's specific swaddles that you can use where you wrap it around to hold them close, like their arms or, yeah.
So when you swaddle a baby, it keeps their arms and legs all tucked in?
Yeah, it gives comfort to them, so that's why she liked it. It kept her calm.
Where did you learn about how swaddling helps babies?
I honestly don't know. Probably like from young. When I was growing up in Singapore, a lot of people swaddle their babies over there, so.
What about Abby's milestones? Was she meeting her milestones?
She was.
Okay. By the time she was 7 months, could she crawl?
She would like crawl in circles. She wasn't fully crawling.
Okay. Was she able to lift her head?
Yeah.
Could she roll over?
Sorry.
Take your time.
Yes.
When did she start rolling over?
I think it's about 3 months.
Could she sit up yet when she was 7 months?
Not quite. She was trying, though.
Was she able to sort of scoot or pull up yet?
She wasn't pulling up, no. Kind of scooting.
Who was Abby's pediatrician?
Dr. Tani Gastiala.
And was Abby up to date on her well baby visits?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about her vaccinations?
I'm pretty sure she was up to date with those, but we did do like a delayed schedule for her.
Why did you do a delayed schedule for her?
I just didn't want to overload her all at once. So I discussed with her pediatrician, that we could do a delayed schedule so it didn't make her sick or there were no reactions.
So you had a conversation with her pediatrician about whether that was appropriate for Abby?
Yeah.
Okay. Had Abby ever been hospitalized in the 7 months that she was alive?
No.
Had you ever taken her to the ER?
I did.
What for?
She had a fever, and she was still really little, and it was high, so we took her in. But of a helicopter, for sure.
And why would you describe yourself as that?
Just worry. I cared for my kids, so when things would come up, I'd call their pediatrician and check in to make sure everything was okay, normal, things like that.
Did you ever utilize the physician's exchange?
I did.
What is the physician's exchange?
It's an after-hours line that you can use to call for the doctor if you needed any advice and you can't take them in or make a regular appointment.
And how many times would you say you've used that for Abby?
I don't know an exact number, but I think it was a few. Yeah.
And for what kind of things would you call the after-hours line?
I'm pretty sure that when she had that fever, I called the after-hours line. But for things like that, things that I wasn't sure about, but I wanted to make sure that it would be okay.
And when you would call the after-hours line, would her pediatrician call you back?
Yes. Or whoever's on call.
So sometimes it would be another doctor.
Yeah.
And would your pediatrician follow up with you after the phone call at night?
Yes.
Did you guys email at all with your pediatrician?
Yes.
Now, did growing up in Singapore affect the way you parent?
Yeah.
How would you say so?
They're more like natural minded over there. There's a lot of things that they do they do more natural things first before administering medications or, putting them in baths, like if they have a fever, putting tissue on the forehead, if they have hiccups, things like that. So that's just what I was raised around.
And so when it came to medications, for Abby specifically, would you give her medication?
Tylenol.
For what purpose?
If she had a fever.
What if she was having a cold or a cough?
I would give like Highlands. It's a natural medication. Not really a medication. It's a natural remedy that you can give for infants and younger children. And Vicks, paper rub.
What would you do when Abby had symptoms like either a cough or a runny nose?
Humidifier, put some rub on her chest, maybe put her in a bath, a steamy shower.
What prompted you or what made you want to use more natural remedies?
It's just better for the kids. And I have autoimmune issues. I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing for my kids.
All right. Now, beginning on February 21st, 2019,
I was in school. I had exams coming up, and I needed a break.
Was the defendant initially able to watch your kids?
We discussed it. I think
Okay, when you discussed it, was it clear to you that she could watch your children or not?
it wasn't clear the first day when we initially started talking about it.
Okay. What changed?
She was looking for more help. I guess her daughter, she wanted to check with them to see if they could help at Aulani for that day. And so they confirmed that they could.
Okay, and after she had confirmation she would have some help, did it become clear? And so what was the plan as far as her watching the kids?
I was going to drop the kids off at Aulani that morning, and then they were going to take them to the pool and play, and then she was going to bring them back to the house.
And then when were you expected to pick up the kids?
The next morning.
Okay. All right, so on the morning of February 23rd, 2019, did you drive out to Aulani?
I did, yes.
And that's in Ko'olina, right?
Yes.
Okay. About what time was it when you got there?
It was close to 10:30.
When you got there, did you park your car or did you valet?
I parked in the garage.
Okay. What time were you supposed to get there?
I think we had discussed around 11, about 11 o'clock.
Okay. What had you packed for the kids for that day?
Diapers, clothes in the bag.
Okay.
There was some formula in the bag.
Okay. Was there a bottle in the bag?
I had given Abby a bottle on the way, so I sent a bottle too.
Okay. With respect to that formula, do you know when that formula had been purchased?
I don't recall the exact date, I'm sorry.
During that week, had you run out of formula?
I did.
Okay, so what happened when you ran out of formula earlier in the week?
There was a can that was purchased.
Who purchased the can?
The defendant purchased the can.
Okay. And do you know if that was the same can that you packed on the 23rd?
Yes, it stayed in the bag.
And was it the normal can, the purple Similac?
Yeah.
Okay. When you arrived at Aulani, where did you meet with the defendant?
Up in the hotel room upstairs.
When you got to the hotel room, who was there?
It was the defendant, her small children.
So you saw all of them in the room?
Yes.
Now, prior to getting to Aulani, had Abby eaten before you got there?
She did.
What did she have that day?
I gave her a bottle of formula in the car on the way, and then I gave her some oatmeal before we left the house.
Okay. Regarding the oatmeal, did she eat it?
She like pushed it around in her mouth, kind of. She didn't really. We were still figuring it out, so.
Was she new to more solid food?
Yeah.
How many bottles had she had that morning?
I gave her one when she woke up, and then one for the car ride.
Now, the bottle that you left at the hotel, did it have water in it?
No.
Okay. Now, just so that we're clear, the bottle that Abby was drinking on the car ride over, did that get left with the defendant?
Yes.
Were there any other bottles in the bag?
No.
Were either of your kids sick when you dropped them off?
No.
Now you get to the hotel room and you've seen everybody in the room. You dropped off your children. How long did you stay with the kids?
Not long. Maybe like a minute or so.
Did you tell them bye?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Zachary had separation anxiety, so it was just easy.
After you left the room, did you leave the hotel?
I did.
During that day, had you heard from the defendant?
Yes, I did.
What did you hear?
She gave me updates throughout the day
How did she give you those updates?
over text message.
Did they include photos?
They did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 39. It's already in evidence. If you could take a look at these. Do you recall these?
I do, yes.
What are they?
It was the text conversations.
These were all of your conversations from the 21st leading up through the morning of February 24th, right?
Yes.
And so, with respect to the messages that you were getting while the kids were at Aulani, did the defendant tell you that Abby had gone in the lazy river with her?
Yes, she did.
And did she say how Abby was doing as far as napping during the day?
She slept. She said she slept.
Did she say how much she slept that day?
I think she said the whole day.
Was it normal in your experience for Abby to sleep that much during the day?
No.
Were you responding to the text messages?
I was.
When was the last text message that you got on the night of February 23rd?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Sure.
Sorry.
What was the time of the last text message you received from the defendant on February 23rd?
I don't recall the exact time.
Would seeing a copy of the text messages refresh your memory?
Yes.
Is your memory refreshed?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
What is the last time that you got a text message from the defendant on February 23rd?
8:03
Was that morning or night?
p.m.
Did you answer that message?
I did.
About how much later?
About an hour and a half.
When you responded an hour and a half later, did you get any more messages?
No.
Did that bother you at all?
No.
Why not?
I just assumed that maybe they had all gone to bed or...
Now, earlier in the night, at about just before 8 p.m., when you got the last text messages, had the defendant indicated to you that they were all really tired
Yes.
and that they were sunburnt?
Yes.
Now, as far as picking up the kids on the morning of the 24th, what time, did you guys have an agreed upon time?
I don't recall an exact time, no.
So on the morning of the 24th, did you text?
I did.
And what were you texting for? Well, about what?
To arrange a time. And then I did ask if I could drop them up, pick them up a little bit later. So I could go to a class at the gym.
Okay. About what time were you wanting to pick them up?
Maybe around noon.
Okay. Did you get a response to that text message?
Yes, I did.
What was the response?
Please come now.
Did you rush over to the defendant's house?
I did.
When you got to the defendant's house, what did you see?
I saw a lot of police cars, an EMS, fire truck, I think, and a lot of people were just standing outside.
Did you try to find out what happened?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Who'd you talk to?
I think it was an EMT.
What happened when you talked to the EMT?
I asked him what happened. And I said, my kids are inside. I asked him if I could get my kids, and he said, who are your kids? And I said, I have a 7-month-old in there and a 2-year-old. And his face went white. And he said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry your daughter didn't make it, and we did everything that we could, but she was too far gone. She was too far gone. Sorry.
You need a break, ma'am? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short recess here. Please do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anybody. Please rise. And Ms. Lobisch, you may go ahead.
Anna Lobisch there on the stand, emotional, even all these years later, her baby that she loved so much. She wanted her to have good care that day, and no longer with us. We're going to fit in a short break right now. When we come back, more testimony out of Hawaii in the Baby Medicine Manslaughter Trial. You're watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice. And welcome back to Court TV Live on your Friday. I'm Matt Johnson. Thanks for being with us. Let's head back to Florida together for more testimony in the Baby Medicine Manslaughter Trial, where defendant Dixie Denise Villa is a Navy wife charged with manslaughter for allegedly giving a fatal dose of Benadryl to a little baby that she was watching. Right now, we're listening to the victim's mother, Anna Lobisch. Let's head back to court together.
After you spoke to the EMT, did you also speak with the police that day?
I did.
Did you try to give them as much information as you could about what you knew?
Yes, I did.
Now I want to back up a little bit about you providing formula and breast milk. Do you know when you stopped giving breast milk to the defendant to give to Abby?
I don't recall the exact time.
Okay. Now, you said that your milk supply was dwindling, and that's why you switched to formula. Were you concerned about any health? Did you have any health concerns about Abby and milk?
We thought she had a dairy, maybe like an intolerance to the dairy.
Did you raise that with your pediatrician?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Did that affect your decision to move from breast milk to formula?
Yes.
How so?
I was just concerned about the dairy that I was consuming, and then I stopped eating dairy too, so sometimes it affects their tummies.
Now, the morning of February 23rd, 2019, before you dropped the kids off at Aulani, had you given Abby any medication?
No.
What about in the days leading up to February 23rd?
No.
Did you ever give Abby Benadryl?
Never.
Do you have any allergies?
I have a Benadryl allergy.
When did you find out you had a Benadryl allergy?
When I found out.
How did you find out?
I went to the hospital. I had a migraine for 2 weeks, I think it was, and they administered medication to me, and Benadryl was one of them, and then I had a reaction to it.
Did Abby have any allergies that would require anyone to give her any medication?
No.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 62 in evidence. Do you recognize the photo?
Yeah.
Who's the baby in the photograph?
That's Abby.
Do you know when that picture was taken?
It was a few days prior, leading up. I think within that week or so.
Where'd you get this picture from?
From the defendant.
Had she texted it to you while she was watching Abby at her house?
Yes.
Was this before Aulani?
Yes.
Did Abby have any skin conditions?
No.
Thank you. I have no more questions.
Chris.
Your Honor, may we approach the bench?
Okay.
All right, while they take that sidebar, let's bring in our guest watching along with you at home, Deputy Public Defender for LA County, Philip Dubé. Philip, I thought that was really smart by prosecutors, really putting in this jury's mind that the mother had an allergy to Benadryl, so she wouldn't have had consumed it in case that it was somehow in the breast milk that was given to the child.
Yeah, the problem is, though, that she took Tylenol PM. So if mom was using Tylenol PM, one of the active ingredients is diphenhydramine, which is the active ingredient to the histamine that was administered to the baby. So the question becomes one of causation. Did the babysitter deliver that dose, or was there an alternative source, such as the maternal milk? If the baby was fed with maternal milk that had pre-existing high concentrations of diphenhydramine from other sources, such as Tylenol PM, that could be reasonable doubt for the babysitter.